Okay, so now we're taking a look at chapter 5, page 133, Heiveinu Shalom Alaychem. So, okay, this is a Hanukkah song, basically. And so we just want to basically analyze the music first. The first thing we're going to note is that we have one flat, which tells us we're either in the key of F major or D minor. Now, based on the fact that it ends on a D, and that the left hand starts with a D minor chord, and that we also have a C sharp, indicating the 7th scale degree is a C sharp, leading tone, then I think it's pretty safe to say that we are in the key of D minor. Okay, so let's go ahead and write that up here. D minor. Next, we want to analyze the chords, the harmonies. Okay, it's going to make our life a lot easier. So let's take a look. If we're in the key of D minor, we're just going to analyze the harmonies for the left hand for the time being. Okay. So the very first chord is a 1 chord. I'm going to write Roman numeral 1 here. Okay, let me actually do this on a, should I use a brighter color? Yeah, let's try the brighter color. Let's use magenta or whatever the color this is. So a minor 1 chord. Second bar, it's the same. Third bar, it's the same. And fourth bar, it's the same. So that whole first system is just D minor in the left hand. Well, that's super easy. Yay. Let's take a look at the next line here. Okay, measure 5. Now, if you look here, we have a D, a C natural, and an F sharp. That implies that this is actually a D7 chord. A D7 chord. Well, there's a problem here. Does D7 exist in D minor? Well, no, because there's no F sharp. So what is this? Well, this is a borrowed chord. You've learned this in theory at this point. It's a borrowed chord, or what you call an applied chord, which I'm not a fan of that term, but applied chord, borrowed chord, I don't care what you call it. A secondary chord is another term that some textbooks use. Well, what is it borrowed from? Well, a D7 acts as a dominant, which is the 5th chord in a particular key. If we go down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, G minor. So it's the 5 of G minor. And G minor happens to be in D minor. Which chord is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 4 chord. So we're going to call this the 5/7 of the minor 4. The 5/7 of the minor 4. Okay. So the way we write that, 5/7 of the minor 4 chord. Like that. All right? So as you've learned in theory, using secondary dominants like this is a great way to lead to another chord. In particular, if the chord is also diatonic, meaning that it is also in the original key. It makes a very interesting way to get the 4. Here's minor 1 to 4. Okay, that's a minor 1, D minor to G minor. If I insert a secondary dominant, it really creates some nice tension that draws us to the 4. So it's really cool to hear. D minor. See, so you get that kind of tension that comes from that secondary dominant. It's a really fantastic tool to create tension. So, interesting way to make a very simple progression from minor 1 to minor 4 using the secondary dominant. And of course, because since it is dominant of 4, it wants to resolve to 4. So where does it go? It goes to 4. However, this is an inversion. It's in the second inversion since the 5th is in the bass, so we'll write the inversion symbols as well. A 4, 6, 4. And that's the second system. Let's take a look at the third system, bar 9. Here we have a C sharp, a G, and an A. You might already recognize that as a 5/7 in first inversion, or a 5/6/5. Since this is actually an A7 in first inversion and omitting the 5th of the chord, the E. Then it goes back to D minor because, well, fives like to go to ones. On the final bar of the system, we go back to the 5-6-5. It stays on the 5-6-5 on bar 14. And the first ending, we go back to the minor 1. If we look at the second ending, it's still a 5-6-5 until the very last chord, 1. There you have it. There are only 4 chords in the left hand. We have a 1 chord, a 5-7, a 4, a 4 chord, and a 5-6-5. Okay? So now that we've done the Roman numeral analysis, let's also write in the lead sheet symbols. So as you recall, lead sheet symbols are simply the chord names themselves without relating to a particular tonality. Okay? So that's the difference between Roman numeral analysis and lead sheet symbols. Okay? Which is not really a form of analysis at all, because we're just identifying chords and lead sheet symbols. Whereas with Roman numeral analysis, we are relating a particular chord to a particular tonality. Okay? Both are useful. Roman numeral analysis is used by classical musicians, and lead sheet symbols are used by everyone else. Okay? So you need to know both. Okay? If you tell jazz musicians sometimes will know Roman numerals too. But if you tell anyone else, like you go play in a band, hey, play that 4 chord, yo, they're like, speak to me in English, yo. Okay. All right. So that's why I like to do both, okay? So what's a 1 chord in D minor? Let's translate this. Well, that's just D minor, of course. Green's not too visible. Let's do bright red, D minor. Okay. And it's D minor through the whole first system. So let's look at measure 5. What's the 5-7 of 4? Well, 5-7 of 4 is D7. D7. Then the 4 chord on bar 7, what's that? That's G minor. Measure 9. 5-6-5. What's a 5-6-5? Oh wait, that's G minor. Let's put G minor over D since it's inverted. Let's be particular. G minor over D. Measure 9. A 5-6-5 is A7 over C sharp. A7 over C sharp. Measure 11, we go back to D minor. Measure 13, we go back to A7 over C sharp. The first ending goes back to D minor. The second ending is still A7 over C sharp, and then resolves to D minor on the very final measure. Now we have done our harmonic analysis, okay? So at this point, we can play the left hand. But when we play the left hand, I don't want you to play it as written. I want you to play it as just block chords, because that's how you're going to simplify this music in your minds. So we're going to start off by playing just the D minor 1 chord, D, F, A, as a block. That's the whole first line. Okay, second system, bar 5 goes to D7, or D7, which is a 5-7 of 4. So that's D, F sharp, and C. D, F sharp, C. The left hand, just as a block chord. Bar 7, you go to a G minor chord, D, G, B flat, which is just the minor 4 chord in D minor. You might recall that from your minor cadences. That's just a 4 chord. So let's try those 3 chords now. D minor. Then go to D7, which is D, F sharp, C, and then G minor, D, G, B flat. Once again, D minor, D7, G minor. And you want to play that until you can play that fluidly. Look at bar 9. It goes to a 5-7 inverse inversion, C sharp, G, A, like that. And then back to a D minor. Do that again, 5-6-5, and back to 1. It does it again, 5-6-5, and back to 1. That's the whole ending. So now we know all the chords. Let's do it from the beginning. 1 chord, 5-7 of 4, D7, which leads to 4, G minor, 5-6-5. Back to the minor 1, 5-6-5 again, and back to the minor 1. Once you can do that, you can actually play the left hand as written. This is what we call an Alberti bass pattern, okay, where you have the bottom, top, middle, top, bottom, top, middle, top, okay? The interesting thing about this is that once you play an Alberti bass pattern, people think you're playing like serious piano stuff, okay? All right? But it's actually really simple, right? So here we go, first line, as written. Ready, and go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. That's the beginning. Again. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Then we go to the D7 chord. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Then to the G minor chord. 1 and 2 and 1. That's a little trickier because we have a transition between chords in the middle there. Let's try bar 5 again. D7, ready, and play. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Then G minor. 1 and 2 and 1. Like that. Now put that together from the beginning. Here we go. D minor. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Now D7 and 1 and 2 and 1. Now G minor and 1 and 2 and 1. Now we go to the A6 or the 5-6-5, the A7 over C sharp. 1 and 2 and 1. Then back to D minor. 1 and 2 and 1. 5-6-5 again. 1 and 2 and 1. First ending goes back to D minor. 1 and 2 and 1 and then it repeats like that. That's the left hand. Okay? Very, very simple. So you can get very comfortable with that. Let's take a look at the right hand melody now. So the very beginning, you might note that the very first note actually is in the left hand. It's an A in the left hand. So we do need to play that with the left hand there. Okay? Like that. Okay. So the right hand is in D position. Notice our thumb starts on D, so it's just a D position, makes this very easy. And they give us the first finger numbers here, 1, 3, 5. So I'm going to go ahead and write the finger numbers here, just brighter. And the left hand starts like that. 1, 1, 3, 5, like that. That's how that starts. And we're going to write the finger numbers to the right hand. 3, 2, 2, 1. Okay. Let's try the melody from the very beginning. Both hands are in D position. Left hand thumb will start on the A. The right hand thumb will be on the D. And 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, and 2, and 3, and 2, 2, 2, 1. Okay. Now, look what happens next. 1, 2, 3, 5. Well, what does this outline? This is a D minor arpeggio. It's a D minor arpeggio here, okay? 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. Which you already know how to play. So that's what's happening right there, D minor arpeggio, so that's what you can think. Then it goes to B flat on 3. And then 2, 2, 1. Notice that's the same pattern that we had here, 3, 2, 2, 1. Okay? It's just in G minor position. 5, 3, 2, 2, 1. Try that from measure 5. So you're now in G minor position. Ready? And 5, then 3, 2, 2, 1. So if you start from the beginning, it's in D minor. 5, 3, 2, 2, 1. Then skip to measure 5. 5, 3, 2, 2, 1. So it's really helpful to find patterns like this. Let's go ahead and try from the beginning now, the melody. And 1, A, 5, and 2, and 1, and 2, 2, 2, 1. Now the D minor arpeggio. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 5. Now in your G minor position. 3 and 2, 2, 2, 1. Just like that. Okay. Next, we shift the second finger on the note G, which means now you're temporarily in the position of F major. 2, 3, 4, 3. Then you're going to stretch your thumb down to E. Then when you get back to A, you're going to go to fourth finger. So second finger on G, it's going to be like this. 2, 3, 4, 3. Stretch to E. E, then go to fourth finger on A. Just do that much. Okay, so this is a little bit different. It's not very tricky, but it does take a little thinking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Down to E, back to 4. Like that. And 1 and 4. Then it does 3, 3, 2. 3, 3, 2. Let's try from bar 8, please. Second finger on G. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Stretch to E. Back to 4. And 2, 3, 3, 2. So that's a section you can pause and repeat until it's flowing. And we stay in that position. 1 on E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. And then it repeats. This section here is exactly the same as the opening. Okay. On the second ending, you're going to go to fifth finger on the A. Okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's try from measure 12 right over here. Measure 12. Thumb on E. And 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, and 4, and 4, and first ending 4, E, and 3, 2, 3, 4. Then back to D minor. Like that. And now let's try it from measure 12 again, same place. But this time we're going to go to the second ending. Thumb on E. And 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, and 4, and 4. Then shift to D minor. 5, E, and 4, 3, 2, 1. Like that. And that's the right hand. So what you want to do is get very comfortable with both hands alone first. Okay? Once you're comfortable with the chords and the right hand, then the next step is to practice by section. So For example, you might start off by learning this section right over here. Then taking on the next section, which is this part right here. Then perhaps you'll take on the next section, which is this one here. And then the final section here. So we're learning the music by phrases. That's what's happening. We're learning by phrase. Okay. So be able to play each of the phrases first. Learn one phrase at a time. Hands together, keeping it steady, and the whole piece will sound like this. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and D minor arpeggio. 2 D7 1 and 2 and 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 1 and first ending D minor 2 and 1 and repeat and 1 and 2 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 and 1 and second ending 5 2 and 1. That's how it goes. Okay.